San Francisco, Frisco, San Fran, the city, the Bay. Everyone has an opinion on it. It's dirty, it's expensive, it's liberal, it's dying, it's thriving. Regardless of what the media may tell you and what you might think, I've lived here for over 25 years, and I can tell you a lot of thoughts people have are either outdated or flat out wrong. Today, I'm gonna break down 8 things you should know about living in San Francisco from a local. Let's get started. Hey everyone, by the way, if you don't know me, my name is Epstein and I'm a lifelong San Franciscan and realtor here in the Bay Area. On this channel, there's no gatekeeping. I break down what it's really like to live in San Francisco from a local's perspective. If you're thinking about moving to San Francisco, buying a home here, or anything real estate related, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to be a resource for you. My contact information can be found below. And if you want more honest SF real estate content, make sure you're subscribed. That reminds me, I didn't say SF earlier, and you can add that to the laundry list of nicknames for San Francisco. With that getting started, let's hop into the video. Number 1, cost of living. Let's start with the elephant in the room, which is the cost of living here in San Francisco. Yes, San Francisco is expensive. It's one of the most expensive places in the country, actually even in the world, and everyone knows that. But it's not expensive in the way you might think. The real killer here is housing costs. The median home price here in San Francisco is about $1.3 million. In most neighborhoods, a 1-bedroom apartment is $3,000 to $4,000. In the most sought after neighborhoods like the Marina, Pacific Heights, or Noe Valley, a 1-bedroom apartment can easily be $4,500 to $6,000. Here's the thing that most people don't realize. Everything else is not that bad. Grocery costs are similar to other major US cities. Gas is expensive, but it's not something you have to concern you with if you're taking public transportation or dealing with rideshare. Dining out can be pricey, but alternatively, you can eat at home or you can find cheaper eats. I'm talking a $12 burrito in the Mission or a $15 sandwich in the Sunset. It's not like every meal here is gonna cost you $100. I found that when I went to visit New York City, dining there, on average, tended to be a lot higher than it is to eat here. The real question here is if you can afford your rent or mortgage, because if you can, you're likely in good shape. Now, the flip side to this is that salaries are extremely high here in the San Francisco Bay Area. If you're in tech, finance, law, or healthcare, you can easily be making $150,000 plus a year. At that income level, the cost of living here is manageable. You can live here without struggling if you keep your expectations in check. Now, if your income level is closer to $60,000 to $80,000 a year, then living here will be much more difficult. You might be living with roommates, commuting from the East Bay, or rent burdened. So when people say San Francisco is expensive, yeah, that could be true on paper, and it will be difficult for some people to live here. But if you have a higher paying job, which the location offers a lot of, then you can be in great shape to build great financial wealth here. And that is a perfect segue to number 2, the job market. The job market in San Francisco is one of the best in the world. Tech is everywhere here. Salesforce is headquartered here, and they have Salesforce Tower, which is literally the tallest building in San Francisco and happens to be their headquarters. Then we have other Bay Area native companies like Meta, Uber, Airbnb, Stripe, and DoorDash. There are thousands of startups here in San Francisco and even more down south in the peninsula in Silicon Valley. If you're a software engineer, data scientist, product manager, or designer, you can have endless opportunities. And the salaries reflect that. Entry-level software engineers make anywhere from $120,000 to $150,000. Senior engineers make anywhere from $250,000 to $400,000 a year. Keep in mind some of the numbers I'm discussing don't even include bonuses or stock options. We also have a strong finance presence here. Not as strong as New York City, but strong enough to be mentionable. There's a lot of private equity, venture capital, and investment firms here in the city. As you would imagine, healthcare options are plentiful here as well. We have UCSF, or the University of California at San Francisco, which is one of the best hospitals in the entire country. The catch here is that if you don't work in one of these industries, it might be harder for you. Specifically, retail, education, hospitality, and nonprofits can be difficult. They can be great, worthwhile jobs, but they tend not to be as high paying as others. In essence, what I'm trying to say is that the job market is incredible here, but it's even better if you're in a specific fields that I've mentioned. If you're not, or if you're in a job that is lower paying, it could be hard to make it here. By the way, if you're thinking about moving to San Francisco or live here, but are looking to move to a different area, let me know down in the comments below what industry you're in. Number 3, weather and microclimates. I would describe San Francisco's climate as pretty moderate. It's not typically as warm as LA or San Diego, but it's not typically as cold as Seattle. When you're deciding where you're going to end up living in San Francisco, you have to consider its microclimates. The weather changes drastically depending on where you live. It can be 55 degrees and cloudy in the sunset while being 70 degrees and sunny in the Mission at the same exact time. Keep in mind that these areas are probably only 4 miles away from each other. As a rule of thumb, keep in mind that the western part of San Francisco gets hit by the fog that comes from the Pacific Ocean. Here, it can be cold, windy, and gray. In the summer, while the rest of California is warm and sunny, the sunset is still 55 to 60 degrees. The central and eastern parts of the city are blocked by the fog and therefore tend to be warmer. It can be as warm as 15 to 20 degrees warmer than the western part of the city here. When you're considering neighborhoods, make sure you pay attention to the weather there. It matters way more than people think. Number 4, the food scene and its diversity. This is one of my favorite things about San Francisco. San Francisco has world-class food. I don't just mean expensive restaurants. I'm talking food at every level. $10 burritos to $300 tasting menus. Specifically, we have some of the best Asian food in the entire country. Our Chinatown is the oldest in North America. Here or in the Sunset District, you can get incredible dim sum, hand-pulled noodles, or Peking duck. In the Richmond District, you can get great Burmese food, Korean barbecue, or explore some of our Russian bakeries. Where else can you find that combination? The Mexican food in the Mission District is legendary. The Mission burrito was invented here. La Taqueria and El Farolito are recognized as some of the best spots in the entire country. La Taqueria and El Farolito are not just famous amongst locals. They're nationally recognized as some of the best taquerias in the entire country. Now, if you're looking at fine dining options, San Francisco delivers. We have over 30 options here in the city alone. Some of my favorite spots here are holes in the walls, but it depends on what you like. There is a Vietnamese banh mi or sandwich shop called Saigon Sandwiches that I love here in the city, where I believe it's cash only, but you can pick up a sandwich for like $6. The food here is a greater reflection of the diversity in San Francisco. Everything from Chinese, Latino, Filipino, Vietnamese, Korean, Japanese, Middle Eastern, and African. Our food reflects that. If you love food, San Francisco is probably one of the best places in the world you can live. Number 5, things to do. There is so much to do in San Francisco, I can't possibly go over all of it. The funny part is that San Francisco geographically is actually a tiny city. It's only 7 by 7 miles, but there's an insane amount of things packed into this small area. Golden Gate Park is over 1,000 acres and is larger than Central Park in New York City. There, you have museums, gardens, lakes, trails. You can spend an entire day there and not see everything. And we have world-class museums. SF MoMA, California Academy of Sciences, and the D Young. If you're into art or science, there's always something happening here. Regarding the outdoors or hiking, people don't realize how much green space San Francisco has. Our nature here is vast. Hey, thank you. Good boy. Land's End has trails here along the cliffs overlooking the Pacific Ocean. The Presidio has miles of hiking trails and you could easily overlook the Golden Gate Bridge. Twin Peaks gives you a 360-degree panoramic view of the city. Now for music lovers, we have a ton of world-class venues here in the city. The Fillmore is legendary, Bottom of the Hill, Great American Music Hall, and Bill Graham Civic Auditorium. You can easily find live music here every day of the week. Now for sports, for baseball lovers, we have the San Francisco Giants, which play at Oracle Park, which is on the eastern part of the city, on the waterfront at Mission Bay. This is one of the best ballparks in the country and is right along the water. Now for basketball, we have the Golden State Warriors, which play at the Chase Center. The Chase Center is just south of where the Giants play at Oracle Park, which is in the adjacent neighborhood. This is a newer stadium, also along the waterfront, which is beautiful. And finally, for football fans, we have the San Francisco 49ers, which are still called the San Francisco 49ers, but actually play in Santa Clara, which is about an hour south. Lastly, every neighborhood in San Francisco has its own vibe. The Mission District has street art and nightlife. North Beach has Italian restaurants and jazz bars. The Haight has vintage shops. The Castro has LGBTQ history and culture. Ultimately, you can spend months here just exploring different parts of the city. On to number 6. Location and proximity. This is one of the most underrated parts of living in San Francisco. You are close to everything here. If you want to ski or snowboard, you can get to the snow in under 4 hours and go to Lake Tahoe. I know people that in the winter live San Francisco early in the morning, go skiing, and come back at night all within one day. And in the summer, Lake Tahoe has one of the most beautiful alpine lakes in the entire country. They have great hiking, kayaking, or paddleboarding here. Want to be under some of the most beautiful redwoods? Muir Woods is a 30-minute drive north across the Golden Gate Bridge. Point Reyes is also an hour and a half away. There, you have great beaches, hiking, and you can see elephant seals. If you want to explore wine country, Napa and Sonoma are only about an hour and a half drive north. You can do a day trip here or spend the weekend tasting wines. If you want to explore one of the most scenic drives in the entire country, you can go explore Big Sur. This is only a 2.5-hour drive down south with Highway 1. If you ever want to explore our neighbors or rivals in LA, it's a 6-hour drive or a 1-hour flight. If you want to have fun and go gamble or explore some shows in Vegas, that's only an hour flight away. There's also Portland, Seattle, or San Diego, which are all accessible via close flights. Most cities don't have what we have. New York doesn't have that, and LA doesn't have that. That's a huge quality of life advantage. Number 7, homelessness and safety. We have to talk about this honestly because it's what everyone asks about. Yes, there is homeless in San Francisco, and yes, it is visible. You will see people living on the streets, especially if you're in certain areas. The areas that have the most unhoused are the Tenderloin, parts of Soma, or around Civic Center. It can be uncomfortable to witness this, especially if you're not used to it. With that being said, most neighborhoods in San Francisco are safe. In some areas, you won't see homelessness at all. And if you do, it might be concentrated in certain areas. If you don't live or work in the areas I mentioned prior that have a lot of unhoused, then the reality is you won't see them that often. The bigger issue in San Francisco is property crime. Car break-ins are very common here, especially in certain areas, so I highly recommend that you don't leave valuables in the car, and if you do, you should hide them under a blanket, which I do. We have a new mayor in town. His name is Daniel Lori, and I believe that since he's been in office, there has been a significant drop in car break-ins, but they still do happen. In fact, I believe we're known as the car break-in capital in the world. On the bright side, violent crime here is relatively low. It's actually lower than a lot of other major US cities. The media tends to sensationalize homelessness because it's visible and it makes for dramatic news coverage. Some news channels tend to love to talk about San Francisco and explain it as being a hellscape. The day-to-day reality here is that it depends on where you are and you can't avoid it. Don't leave stuff in your car and go about your life. No, it's not perfect, but it's also not Mad Max. Number 8, public transportation. San Francisco has decent public transit. It's not New York and it's definitely not Tokyo, but it's adequate. Here we have Muni, which is the city's public transportation system. They have buses, light rail, and cable cars. A monthly pass is about $80 and gets you unlimited rides. Most neighborhoods are covered by Muni. If you live or work in the city, you can get around without a car, especially in certain areas. BART is our regional rail system here. It connects San Francisco to our airport, the East Bay, and the peninsula. If you work in Oakland or Berkeley, you can take BART. If you're flying out of our airport, which is SFO, you can take BART straight to the airport. Caltrain connects San Francisco to the peninsula and South Bay. Think areas like Palo Alto, Mountain View, and San Jose. If you work in tech and your office is down in Silicon Valley, you can take Caltrain. Walking is also totally viable because San Francisco is so compact. Some neighborhoods are brutal because of our hills, but others are super walkable. Biking is getting better because the city is adding bike lanes to many streets. I wouldn't do it myself, but if you're comfortable biking in traffic, it could be a great way to get around the city. Now, the downside is that Muni can be slow. It can be unreliable because buses get delayed and trains can break down. If you're used to driving everywhere, the transition to public transportation can be frustrating. Regardless, a lot of people that live in the city don't have a car and utilize walking, biking, or public transportation. It's totally doable and actually very easy if you're in certain areas. So there you have it. Those are the 8 things you need to know about living in San Francisco. SF isn't perfect, but if you value some of the things I mentioned, then it's one of the best cities in the entire country. If you're thinking about buying a home here, moving here to San Francisco, or even finding a place to rent, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you. My contact information is below. And if you want more honest San Francisco real estate content, please make sure you subscribe. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.